This video is about the principle of not shifting the blame. I'm going to do this in two parts. First, we need to understand a little history here. Long ago, the martial art order was guys with spears and basic shields and basic weapons before armor. Armor allowed the craftsman build, right, to take over. Okay? And these guys never, ever, logically, can transcend the burden of proof because they're an unnatural direction. And people who are shaped more like me are being replaced because of breeding cycles by colonists, white guys, Jews, people who had money historically, who invested in slave trading, the Arab slave traders, various groups of people that took advantage of colonialism, the slave trade, neocolonialism, etc., and extracted the indigenous traits that were more conducive to being a natural martial artist, thus a natural alpha and spiritual leader. So once we know that, and we know that all these problems occur as a result of replacing the alpha with an illegitimate, lying scribe, scientist, craftsman, trade route bitch, etc., we can understand where the blame logically starts. So we see this argument emerge. The followers of Men and Set, Men, the patron of chemistry, okay, and Set, brute force, sexual immorality, foreigners, etc., etc. They're basically saying, should we use chemistry, drugs, right, fumes to confuse the people and make it seem like they're superior? Is it okay to do that? Can they get away with it? And is it okay? Okay. And of course, Set is also a deity of brute force violence, not surgical strikes. Then you have Horus, who says you have to use moral clarity, mental clarity, courage-based clarity. Because if you're a coward and you don't put God first and you value your family or your culture more than universal morality, you don't have the clarity to be moral. Okay? That cowardice is clouding your judgment. Give me one moment here. I'm going to close the window. There's a plane flying by. All right. So, we have various martial arts emerge, right? Kuro, Obi, black belt. Obi means belt. The belt is used to carry things. Some people translate Obi as carry as well. So the belt, the sash, to carry. Okay? Do you care to carry the truth, or do you carry in your genes and your culture, etc., the lie, the principles of evil, settlers, colonialism? Get the slave to settle for being a slave to those who do the principle of evil instead of fighting to the death or dying. So all these slaves that came here, they're in the reproductive cycle of settling. Okay? Survivor, serve, I, veer. Pretty straightforward. Shaolin, okay, Kung Fu, which in popular culture is said to be the source of all Eastern martial arts. Okay, and some people go as far as to say all martial arts, but of course these are liars, craftsmen, these are illusion bitches. Obviously martial arts starts in Africa. It's a no-brainer. Narmer palette predates Kung Fu. Obviously you have everything there. You have surgical strikes. Horus is a symbol of surgical strikes and thinking and higher thought and spirituality and so on and so forth. And you have war arts. So they lose there. Also we have a guy, the sandal bearer, carrying a belt on top of that. He's carrying a belt, right? These are the servants of Pharaoh, carrying the belt, okay? And the idea, Obi, Abba, the father, obey. So anyway, Shaolin, show line. What is the line? Well, there's lines in terms of angles. Work the angles, right? Work the angles, right? Work the angle down and so on and so forth, right? And changing angles, right? Kind of thing, right? So there's various lines in that regard. And a kind of trail. When you move your hand, there's like a trail, right? So it's a line. The computers show it and so on and so forth, right? So we can go talk about the angles, angels, right? On leg, in leg, right? Skywalking, glean, which is extract, right? Extract the truth, extract the attractive woman, etc. It's also, but what they're referring to most perhaps is showing the line with intensity. When they derive their intensity, they talk about, and they openly say it, that they're drawing energy from their Tantien, their chi, and then their chakra points in Hindu and so on and so forth. These guys, this is Eastern ideas, right? Afro-Asiatic. The heart should come before the energy-based arts, right? Hebrew Afro-Asiatic language, dialect, okay? And the Afro-Asiatic peoples, language-speaking peoples that went to the Middle East and made contact with the Near Asians, Middle Asians, and ultimately with all Asians through the trade routes to some degree. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Light contact, contact of people. Okay, the source of light, enlightenment, and so on and so forth. So they're showing the line. Okay, The West accepts Babylon's system, baby line system. They're the main colonialists, the West, the East, the Eurasians. These are the colonialists and the Arabs, trade route guys, and so on and so forth. They colonized the world, right? The Ottoman Empire, the empires, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, and so on and so forth. Okay, after the Egyptians and Babylonians kind of fall out of favor, these guys are the empires, the British Empire, the French, and so on, and the colonists, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these are the baby line, right? They came later, and they're acting like children with technology, wearing wigs, and so on and so forth. Pretty straightforward. So what is their motion? Their boats, right? Promotion. Who's promoted and why? A movement, making moves, right, in the business world, and so on and so forth. So now that we understand this kind of basic background, let's get into where the line is. Obviously, anyone who doesn't put universal morality first is in the baby line system. This is way too late in human history to be acting like a bitch who doesn't understand universal morals and that they're more important than any culture, religion, nation, etc. That you put God first, okay? And it's very straightforward. You know, the sun, there's different symbols in nature. The heavens declare the glory of God. Psalm 19, their own Bible, right? Bible, baby, L, Bible, and so on and so forth. Okay. You know, you have to extract the truth from their baby argument. Goo goo gaga, I'm more mature and more wise than you. I'm not going to put myself beneath you kind of thing. Okay. So the line is the least, right? The least spiritually intense, mature, and moral in the divine order. Everything beneath that, including the Kung Fu guys themselves, falls short of the line. They're showing the line, but they're beneath the line trying to survive. And historically, their own Kung Fu systems were used against them by the Chinese army, etc., as they crack down on these people and say, what worth are you? And then they're persecuted by the communists who also do some hand-to-hand combat derived from Kung Fu. So their system fails, and they're trying to survive, so they're lying to exist. So what is the lowest level? So let's start with the lowest, and let's work the way up to the line, okay? Because you pretty much get it. The martial art order is right with God. They live in truth. There's a line. This is the line for evil. They're not right with God. They're not good people. Okay, so who are these people? At the bottom of it, I'm going to give you 4 or 5 points of references and wrap this up almost out of time. The bottom of it is the richest people, the biggest thieves. Their own Bible. Remember, as you judge, you will be judged. Set testifies against himself. In the Bible, people testify against themselves. Okay, kings and so on. Matthew 19:23, then Jesus said to his disciples, truly I tell you, it is hard for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. The poor plead for mercy, and the rich answer harshly, and so on and so forth. The rich guys are obviously, according to their own scale, the bad guys, corporate greed, Occupy Wall Street, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, on and on and on. These are the bad guys, okay? The richer you are, the more evil you are when all these people around the world are dying of hunger. Why the fuck are you rich and trying to serve the survivor cowards, trying to help survivor cowards that the craftsmen have allowed to survive because they're shaped more like them? What the fuck is your problem? Why are you so stupid and fucking evil? Obviously, the biggest thieves are pretty much the rich, okay? Then the women who date them. The females who are kind of massaging, Cruella de Vil, Ursula types, saying, go get the poor, honey. Go make us rich. Just garbage whores. Corporate sluts, fucking corporate